welcome to our Picto webinar series on creating a winning sales deck for remote pitches. I'm really so glad that you could join us here today for the webinar. I'd like to hand the time over to my colleague and the speaker for today's webinar, Sarah Kim, who is our account executive at Piktochart. Over to you, Sarah.
Thank you, Wilson, and hello, everyone. I must tell you, I have been excited and eager for this day for a long time, so I'm absolutely elated to be here. I know times are crazy and weirdly busy, so I appreciate all of you guys making the time and showing up today. And it's my first webinar here at Piktochart, so that makes you guys even more special of an audience to me. I'd love this webinar to feel very casual, not throw out just a bunch of information and slides at you for a long time. I'd love to just share some tips and tricks and then open up the conversation to you guys to engage and answer the specific questions you have. I hope you have some good takeaways from the session and just have a good time overall. So, all right, let's get things officially kicked off. My name is Sarah Kim. I'm an account executive here at Piktochart. I fell into sales way back when at a car dealership where I started as a receptionist and quickly found myself in a sales position, just competing with some of the best and still a teenager. And I just learned so much from this experience and loved it. And I really found my footing in sales here. I then moved into the tech space and eventually the product and design world, where this was the real turning point for me. I found just such a love and passion for just amazing design. And I found my space that I wanted to be in and sell in for the rest of my life. So that brings me to Piktochart today, where we are a product where we are firm believers of what we call communication design. And what that means is quite simple. They're designs that support your message and deliver it effectively to your audience. And we do that through what we call visual messaging. So we are complete visual creatures by nature. Our brains we retain text at just 10%, right? But whereas when that's paired with a visual, our brains will retain that same information at 65%. So let's use this, right? Let's use this fact, use this to our advantage to stand out from the competition that, guess what, is they're pitching your same clients every day. So you've participated in our poll. As salespeople, we're used to traveling. I'm not like only part of the time, sometimes most of the time. We go into clients' campuses, their office. We're used to seeing them face to face and pitching them that way. But we, for the most part, can't do that anymore. And I know we are all prospecting and selling in a very new landscape. So Piktochart gives you an opportunity to step up that pitching game you have as a remote option. So today's topic, pitch decks. What does it take? We all know pitch decks, right? We have all used it. I mean, that's why we're here today. But how many times have we sent a same exact pitch deck to different clients or different prospects that couldn't be any more different? And how many times has that been kind of glossed over or brushed off? You can avoid this by making each pitch deck you send feel extremely personal and unique to your client or your brand. And before you say, oh, I don't have time to do that, Piktochart enables you to do that very easily and very quickly. So, some basic ideals of pitch decks. What does it take? Number one, always should be relatively short. To touch on the retention fact that I touched on earlier, why is retention so important? Well, how many of you guys use your phones or your iPads while watching TV? Or how many of you guys are doing that right now, right? That's because our attention span is changing. It's just getting shorter every day. And clients are not exempt to that. So keep it short, keep it simple, and keep it concise. As Steve Jobs once said, simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. So speaking of Steve Jobs, and as he did at Pixar, we all love stories. We read them, we watch them, we tell them. Weave a story for your client that centers them as this character. Keep them involved, keep them invested. Then come in like the superhero that you are. Tell them what your powers are and how you can help them solve their problems. So, example, our superpower here at Piktochart is that we make everyone designers, saving them valuable time and money. We make you this resource that is paid for, usually at a very high cost, and we do it at a fraction of the price. Not only a fraction of the price of what a designer would cost, but a fraction of the price of any comparable tool out there on the market. So I read once in this great sales book that there's always going to be 3 main components that are going to be key decision makers for your clients when they're buying. You're either going to A, save them money, B, save them time, or C, you're going to make them money. So really pinpoint what your power is and use that. Lastly, but very importantly, keep a consistent and polished look. Don't jump around from layouts to colors to fonts. While storytelling can greatly improve your pitch deck, absolutely, the design of your pitch deck is just as important, which is why you should always pair your storytelling with a great pitch deck design. So let's get into some design tips, visual communication tips. First, we got hierarchy, specifically layouts. This can be rather subtle, but it makes a huge difference. When you're starting from a blank and trying to gather all this data and put it into one slide, it can look really discombobulated very easily. Our grid lines on our platform will give you a guideline on how to break things up on your slide. If your slide isn't looking right, use our grid lines as a guided suggestion on separating your material or organizing them in a nice way, like this. This is what our grid lines changed the previous slide into with suggestions. Contrast. Please do not put dark gray on light gray, yellow font on white background. As someone with terrible vision, I beg you, just do not do it. You want your colors to pop, right? And you can do this by creating high contrast. This first slide here is a lowish contrast, right? You can see it, it's fine, but it's a little bit dull. And that's because all the colors and fonts are too similar. This is the same exact slide with more contrast in the fonts and the background. So general rule of thumb is keep your fonts and background on the opposite side of the spectrum of color and or shade. So as you see on this one, it already pops more, right? So contrast is key. All right, so fonts. I have made this mistake a lot myself, using as many fonts as possible. And it's really easy to do it because there's just so many options for fonts. But it turns out you can create a lot of separation by just bold and sizing options. So this first slide is trying too hard. It's trying to separate each section of this slide way too aggressively, and the end result looks really scattered. This is the same exact slide with the same exact font, just all different sizes and colors, italicized and bold. Still a lot of separation happening within the slide, as you can see, but within a consistent look. So same thing with icons. You will see a lot of icon options in Piktochart, but same with fonts, keep it thematic. If you're gonna go with color icons, go with color icons. Same with black outlines. This, here you see a similar icon in the same color. And this is a way to show your same icons in a way that creates high contrast. And color icons are great too, just keep it all in one color theme and don't make it too messy. All right, so how can we change your presentation game? This is a slide that's available to me on Google Slide. It's good, it's a fine slide, but Again, you'll probably make this slide as your cookie cutter slide for all of your clients. Where are the options? Where's the customization abilities, right? Well, they're living in Piktochart. So what you see here is the vast options of templates available to you in the same criteria, search criteria, which is presentation decks. And here is one of our examples of our sales deck templates. It's already a bit more exciting, right? Not only do we have the design, we lay out the content outline for you. So from title page to intro to the services you provide, maybe a fun note from the CEO, and all the way to a closing page, we lay out the content for you. So let's say you choose this template and you can work with this layout. But pink is not relevant to either your client or your brand. Let's say we're pitching a client today and this is their logo. Then let's you can screenshot their logo or any logo, even your logo, and simply upload it into our brand assets feature that we have on our platform and save. Then boom, it extracts your brand assets for you in a second. Then you could take that same exact template that you started and apply these new colors that already feel like you made this specifically for your client. So think of something like this for huge brands like Target or Walmart or Disney with their distinctive brand colors and the fonts, right? What would resonate more to them? A generic blue background presentation like this, or something that you made on brand for them like this? So a great pitch deck design and the right visuals can be used to tell your story better and support your message. They can create brand consistency and make your pitch resonate. We can help bring your company, your team, your customers to life, and your solutions, all of that to life. And we're not just limited to presentations. We're known for our infographics, our reporting, our social media platforms. And we have over 21 million registered users and almost 50 million Piktochart created. And most importantly, we have a 95% customer satisfaction rate because we're just so user-friendly and we have the templates that are relevant to you. And we'd love to hopefully add you to that list of happy clients. So that is my closing. As I mentioned, I didn't want to take too much of your time presenting. That concludes my intro to what makes a beautiful presentation that your clients will remember. There are tips and tricks that I learned along the way, along the years of sales, combined with the visual methods that I learned here at Piktochart. We're so versatile. We're not only limited to presentations, as I mentioned. We can be applied to any business proposals as well as internal messaging. And we are used by sales teams, HR teams, marketing teams. I mean, everyone can find a use for our platform. So if you have specific questions or would like to run through some demos with me, feel free to book a demo with me and I'd be super happy to chat.
Thank you, Sarah, for sharing your valuable insights and learning with us today. So if you have any more questions, you can always feel free to connect with Sarah or myself. So that's the email for Sarah and this email for myself. You can also find us on LinkedIn and you can ask us any questions you like. Also, feel free to follow Piktochart on our social media channels because we do offer a lot of visual communication tips and design tips as well. So once again, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Sarah for sharing your valuable insights with us. Thank you, Sarah. That's the end of our webinar today. We hope that you've learned some valuable tips on creating your winning sales deck for remote pitches. Thank you, everyone, and goodbye.